I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to episode, I think it's 77 of the Best Thing We've Seen podcast. My name is Flo.
And as always, I am Gabe. How are you?
I'm very stressed out, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I appreciate your understanding and your help. Maybe editing this week's episode, which I know for people who are listening to this, they couldn't care less. But yeah. It's been a stressful couple of days for me. How about you?
Not in the way as it was for you, I bet, because you actually got shit to do, and I'm just more in a kind of a social stressful situation, as in I've met so many people, and as a person who appreciates his time alone at home, I'm kind of missing out on that. I know, poor fucking me gets to see friends. But no,
what have you been up to? What have you been doing that you actually didn't want to do?
No, I want to do all those things, but I pretty much every day had something planned. I had to either go to work or I had to meet some friends. I say had to.
I was going to say, yeah.
I do appreciate the time.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I do like sometimes to just spend a day at home, fucking eat toast with butter and lay in my bed and watch 2-3 movies and yeah. Pretty much do nothing. But that's just me, I'm just a fucking fuck up at heart, so I shouldn't complain too much.
Yeah.
What about you? Why have you been so stressed out this whole week?
He asked, and knowing the answer. Well, it's just uni work,
Yeah.
I gotta hand in a paper in about 11 hours.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. So
all right, till midnight. That makes sense.
Midnight, yeah, right.
So everybody knows now when we record 1 p.m.
Well, yes.
The golden hour.
Yeah. But, yeah, I could have handed this in like a couple of weeks ago. But for anyone who knows me,
I get it.
Last minute is my second name. I don't even know what that means.
The stress really gets the brain juices flowing,
Yeah. Well, they kind of have to get flowing at some point. How was your week in terms of watching things? Obviously, this is the first episode after a special episode. So we could have maybe had 2 weeks of watching regular things. I don't know. How many things do you have?
I have, I think, 3 things now. And I wouldn't have even had one of those things if you hadn't reminded me that we had watched this in the last 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah. You almost forgot my pick.
Oh, wow. That would be interesting.
Sure.
But apart from that, I think most of the things that I'm going to talk about today, I watched in the window of 24 hours.
Right.
Because, to be honest, I completely forgot that I had to watch stuff for this week. After last week's episode, the special, and it was kind of a stressful weekend, and I just completely forgot that it's going to be in 5 days' time, we're going to do this once again.
Right.
Which I should have been used to by now.
I was going to say, episode, what was it, 77?
Yeah. But apart from that, I watched some really cool things that I'm excited to talk about. You said you had a couple of more things to talk about, I think.
Because I have 4 things, yes, because you missed one sneak. So that's the 4th thing I got. And we did, because cinemas are back, ladies and gents, and we're getting good movies now. And I mean, you have seen some things that you're going to save for next week. And I have seen things like in sneaks before that I'm still saving for a future episode, but we have discussed what we're going to talk about today. I think maybe even for the first, well, not for the first time, but we'll get to it, especially with one movie that's been out for a while, and we were just sort of telling each other, let each other know once we've seen it, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know. So who's starting this? What are you doing?
The last regular episode, was it Black Widow? No. The one there was one after that, I think.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah. And I think I started with that episode. I think it's your turn. I should have looked this up once again, but it was Black Widow and I started, so it's your turn.
Right. do we need to do anything else? Do you want to tell everyone how the show works?
Sure. So, welcome back to another regular episode. Last week was a special episode where we talked about a person's career. Today, we're just going to talk about the best thing that we've seen all week. Anything new, anything from a TV show to a YouTube video to a movie. And usually, we have no idea what the other person's picks are going to be. Today, we at least know what the other person's going to talk about. I still don't know what the pick is actually going to be.
Right.
But yeah, it's something new, something that came out in the last 6 months or so. Sometimes it's tough because where we live in Austria, we have quite different release dates than, let's say, the UK or the US. So it might be new for us. If you live in another country, you might think, shit, this has come out over a year ago. Well, we couldn't see it before now. So yeah, this is...
It sucks.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
Predicament, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's start off with a couple of honorable mentions. I have no idea what you've seen that I haven't, I think.
You haven't checked, you haven't looked it up, what you missed in the sneak?
I think I talked about it with Maxi for a moment.
Right. He said he hated it.
Yeah, but I don't actually know what the movie's name is or what it is actually about. I think I've forgotten most of what he said, but that's just my feeble little mind that can't keep information in. So, yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, that movie was Hope Gap.
Okay.
And, yeah, that's not my pick either. But I think I definitely didn't hate it as much as he did. So Hope Gap, one of those great sneak movies that I had never heard of before, you know? You expect good movies in the sneak, and every once in a while you get those, but it feels like most of the time it's just some random movie that's, you know, I enjoy watching because I would never watch them otherwise.
Sure.
So Hope Gap, it stars Annette Bening and Bill Nighy. I think you like Bill Nighy, right?
He's done some cool things.
Right.
I'm not a huge fan, but yeah.
Okay. And Josh O'Connor, who was in Emma, that movie. I don't remember who he was in that, but
yeah, me neither.
He's the main actor in God's Own Country, which I think you have seen.
Right. Well, which one of the main actors?
I don't know. One of the two. I haven't seen it. He's Johnny Saxby.
Okay. I gotta say, I don't remember a lot about God's Own Country, but
yeah,
I just wasn't a huge fan of that movie. But
okay,
that's my own humble opinion. I think it was well received. When
it
came
was.
Out.
It really was. Yeah. So hold on. I haven't even looked up when Hope Gap is going to be out. Maybe that's out in like end of August too. Let's have a quick look before. But I'll tell you what it's about anyway, and we'll cut this if it's not going to be out anytime soon. But Hope Gap, Annette Bening and Bill Nighy have been in a marriage for 30 years. Oh, 30th of July. Perfect. Okay. So it's out now. Go and see it. They've been in a marriage for 30 years, but that marriage is deteriorating, and Bill Nighy wants to leave because he has fallen in love with someone else. And he has invited their son over, who's living on his own in the city, and they're out in the countryside. And I don't even know if it's the countryside, sort of on a little small town with some great cliffs. It's a very idyllic place. Yeah. So they invited him over, and he basically wants him to stay when he tells Annette Bening's character that he's going to leave, and he wants him to take care of her, basically. And it's a weird movie. The thing that was really weird to me is that Annette Bening has a British accent, which apparently she's done that from? Before. I think she's American, isn't she?
I have no idea, to be honest.
She was born in Kansas.
Oh, okay. That's quite American.
Yeah. Well, they moved to California when she was young, according to the IMDb site.
Okay.
But yeah, that just threw me off completely. I don't know why. And I don't want to spend too much time on Hope Gap. This is not a great movie. It kind of, I don't even... It was interesting tone-wise because it started off quite funny. I liked Bill Nighy's performance. He just sort of like as this quiet guy who's just sort of like going through his day and just can't sort of start a conversation with his wife because he's so subdued and maybe even down. And it led to some kind of funny moments at times, but the movie isn't really a funny movie at all. It's really about that relationship deteriorating and sort of about her coping with the fact that her husband, after 30 years, just decides to leave her. And he also then, he doesn't want to see her anymore to sort of help her get over him. and it's all like through when the divorce papers come and stuff. He just doesn't want to see her either, and yeah, it's I don't know what that movie is trying to tell me, but it was fine. It was fine, and I like Josh O'Connor's performance as the son, sort of coping with that whole thing too, and I like Bill Nye, and Annette Bening is good too. So it's one of those sneak movies that you don't need to see, but it was okay.
Now that you mention it, a couple of things are coming back to me that Maxi told me about this movie. One of which was, I think he described it as the husband no longer wants to pretend or it changed himself, his demeanor to please his wife, and he's just so done with it. I think that's how he explained it to me, and I thought that kind of actually sounded interesting.
Yeah, it does sound interesting. I don't know if I fully agree with that because he doesn't really... I feel like he hasn't been pretending for a while. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I feel like he just goes like, I'm going to tell her now that I think it's over. But she's been unhappy, I think, for years, and it's just sort of like he never knew what to do to please her, basically, and he just formed the opinion that they weren't really made for each other after like 30 years, which is, I mean, it took him a while to figure that out, but yeah, it's just about sort of him owning up to his feelings, basically. Okay. Finally owning up to them. Yeah, it's okay. Hope gap.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, I'm not going to say it's great, but the fantastic thing is so I saw this just with Maxi, right? He was laughing a couple of times, and I was like,
oh, okay.
Yeah. And afterwards, he was like, no. It was just because the scene was so bad, you know? I was like, okay. Sure. No, I didn't quite believe him there, but sure, whatever. But the funny thing is that this movie is written and directed by the guy who wrote Gladiator.
Oh, wow.
Which is one of his favorite movies. That's your guy.
Well, that's quite a change in genre.
Yeah. I mean, that dude, he wrote Les Miserables, the fucking Tom Hooper version. And he wrote Gladiator and Unbroken. And now he wrote and directed Hope Gap. It's a weird
Unbroken is the Angelina Jolie movie.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. But yeah, that's Hope Gap. Let's move on.
Interesting. Yeah, I think we can move on to another sneak movie that we saw together, because I don't think either of us enjoyed it.
I enjoyed that movie more than Hope Gap.
Yeah? But did you think it was good?
I thought it was okay.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. When this movie finished, the movie being Penguin Bloom.
By the way, I mean, I know everyone is listening to this has been anticipating Penguin Bloom for months, but so we're finally going to talk about it.
And when I watched this movie, I was like, all right, this is fine. I just think this story isn't for me. I couldn't give you like a definitive answer why this didn't interest me. I just sat there and was like, okay, this is not a movie that interests me or that I would like deliberately pick out. But
okay,
it wasn't bad.
So
I mean,
okay, do you want to give a quick plot synopsis? Because I actually feel different than that.
Yeah, I mean, Penguin Bloom is based on a real story about a woman, a mother of a family who has had a debilitating accident while on a holiday trip, and now she can no longer use her legs because she's paralyzed from, I think, the hip down or something like that. And yeah, it's her struggle to stay happy, to still see some sort of purpose in life, because she feels so useless that she can't even take care of her own children, can't participate in anything, and just feels, I don't know, depressed, of course. And then one of her young sons adopts a wild bird that has been injured, and through that she kind of finds a new lease on life and tries to get back out there, which is of course a struggle, not just for her, but of course also the children and the husband and everybody around her. And the main actress in this is Naomi Watts, who is a big actress. And
yeah,
didn't expect her to see in this because it felt quite low budget.
Yeah,
but it was all right. It was fine.
I thought she was great, actually.
Yeah, she was good. Yeah,
I really enjoyed her performance, and also Andrew Lincoln. Lincoln, right? You don't pronounce the second L. Andrew Lincoln, I think. The guy from Love Actually, and obviously, what is it, Walking Dead? No.
The Walking Dead as the main character, or one of the main characters, I guess.
Yeah.
What's his name in The Walking Dead again?
I have not seen an episode. Rick Grimes.
Rick Grimes, yeah. That's it.
I'm looking it up. I have no idea. But I like that guy. I thought he was really, really good in that movie. Well, really, really good might be.
Yeah.
I thought he was.
I gotta agree.
Yeah.
He's better than I had imagined because I mainly know him from The Walking Dead, and that's not a show particularly known for great performances. I mean,
Love
it's
Actually,
entertaining, but sure. But that was quite a while ago. He was quite young there, and he's got quite a small scene.
No, it's oh well, yeah. I mean, he's the guy who's in love with his best friend's wife.
Yeah, with the very romantic card scene.
Yeah.
Quite iconic for that movie.
No, for sure. But I'm just like, he's in a poor position. That guy. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Sure.
But I enjoyed this, as I said, more than Hope Gap, and I actually thought this was a decent film. It's based on a true story. I don't know if you've mentioned this.
Yeah.
The same thing with the penguin as well. Sorry, not with the bird. I think it was a magpie, right?
Dude, yeah, could be.
I think so. And they called it penguin because he kind of looks like a penguin. But it was funny to me because this movie is set in, where was it?
Australia.
Was it? No.
Yeah, definitely.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I'm 99% sure.
No. Was it really?
Yeah, that's why they surf all the time.
I thought it was in like... Hold on a second here.
Yeah, because they also got Australian accents. I mean,
no, they're
Naomi
an
Watts
Australian
is also
family. I think. Are they an
living
Australian
in
family?
Australia, I think, because their family also lives there. I don't think they all moved.
See, I'm 90% sure this was not set. This was set in hold on just a second here. People, we gotta... Yeah, it was in Thailand.
No. They were on holiday in Thailand, and that's where she had the accident.
You're right.
But they live in Australia.
See, I thought they lived in... Okay. See, very interesting because
because there's even that scene where they kind of argue where to go on holiday, and the kids want to go to Disneyland, and they argued for Thailand.
Yeah,
they talk about that.
No, you're right. I thought the accident happened, and then they just the whole movie was set in their home in Thailand.
Sure. Yeah,
but I was wrong. No, that was wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
You wouldn't see very little Thai people if this were set.
Well, you don't really see any other people other than like one, like her. Oh, that's right. Her mother is there too. I mean, that would make sense that she's not living in Thailand either.
And Gay,
she's
so
trainer. Good, man. I love that actress, Rachel House.
Just an unfortunate name, I think.
Rachel House?
No, Gay.
Oh, I think that's an Australian name, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
But she's great. I mean, Hunt for the Willow People
good.
and Thor.
Right, Hunt for the... That's where Noah from. God, I love her.
She's in this. Thor too. And
where was she in for? I mean,
Ragnarok
makes sense because of Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
But who was she in that?
Well, she was the assistant to Jeff Goldblum's character. Well, not assistant is the wrong term, but her henchwoman.
Henchwoman, yeah, that's pretty good. Right, yeah, she's funny. I gotta say, yeah.
Yeah, I like her a lot. One of the great voices.
She does have a great voice.
Yeah,
I think she would. Yeah, do amazing voiceovers.
Oh, she's been in like Soul too. She was that one like Terry, the one that I was gonna say Ghost, but you know that little figure that hunts him. I think.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, what I was gonna say with Thailand, I thought it's because Naomi Watts. She did the movie called The Impossible. Have you seen that movie?
I don't think so, no.
With the tsunami hitting in, I think it's in Thailand too.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard about this, but I haven't seen
this
it.
This is a great film. But there's also a true story about it. In 2004, the tsunami that hit Thailand and the family that was there, and tells the story of that. And I was just like, Naomi, just don't go to Thailand anymore, you know? Shit's happening when you go there. But I liked her. And one scene that really stuck with me was when she was lying in bed and the kids were like puking and they were just calling out for their father, and she just woke up and was like crying, and it's like, they used to call out for me. I thought that was a terrific scene.
Sure, yeah.
The way it was shot, the way it was acted, and the way it was written. Sorry. So it's a fine film, and it's a weird story. I mean, the fact that it's true is kind of insane, but you get those parallels, obviously, of like nursing that little magpie back to its feet and sort of teaching it how to fly again, and sort of like, you know, the mother trying to cope with not being able to do that, basically. And it's a fine film. I actually don't have too many bad things to say about it.
I don't think it was a bad movie either. Yeah, I just don't think it was a movie for me, I guess.
Yeah.
But what's interesting, they apparently filmed in a real house of that family, which is fucking crazy.
Really?
That view, yeah.
Was that house in Thailand?
No, in Australia. Pretty sure.
Let's look it up. Yeah.
But yeah, I think we can move on from that because I think we have two very big movies to talk about this week.
Yeah, and it's your pick, so this is going to be good.
No,
it's my pick. Oh, fuck.
It's your turn to start.
Shit.
I'm going to assume we have the same pick.
Yeah.
So I think we can move on with one more honorable mention.
Yes. I think, well, hopefully it's the same thing. I don't know.
I would assume so.
The last honorable... see, I don't know. I don't know you anymore. The last honorable I have this week is In the Heights.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
For me as well.
We're good. Yeah, I mean, we've professed our love for Hamilton on this podcast before. To me, that's one of the greatest pieces of art I can remember seeing. Hamilton.
Christ, okay.
I think that's a Michelle Obama quote.
Really?
She actually said that, yeah. So, yeah, I can't take credit for that, but I agree with her.
Yeah, really? I mean, I love Hamilton as well, but...
Yeah.
Context, there's so many good things out there.
No, but I think what it was trying to do and the way it went about doing that, I think it's just flawless. And
sure.
I still listen to the soundtrack. So, whatever. So, In the Heights, this was the play or the musical that Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote before he did Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
And now that was also like Hamilton is now on Disney Plus. Now In the Heights got its own movie.
Not from Disney Plus, or not from Disney at all, which I was surprised by.
Yeah. No, I'm saying Hamilton was on Disney Plus. I'm just saying like all
course,
of his work is now like sort of, being made available to the wide audience, to the public, really.
Sure, yeah.
And In the Heights, man, I mean, I don't really know what to say about this. I still haven't really made up my mind. I'm so like torn on this film. There were so many scenes where I was just like cringing and creasing up.
Okay.
And other scenes were really, really good. But the way I'm gonna, let's tell everyone what this is about, I guess. So it stars Anthony Ramos, who was in Hamilton as what was it? As Philip,
the son, yeah,
the son, and
also
Lawrence.
The other guy, Lawrence sounds correct, yeah.
Yeah. So he got to play Lin-Manuel Miranda's part in this. So Miranda only has like a couple of cameos, and it's about the life and the troubles and the happiness that happens in Washington Heights, a part of New York City, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is this in
Upper
New York? Upper New York, I think. Yeah. I mean, I'll give the movie that it really enticed me to visit that area. But I feel like that's more the writing than the film. I feel like I would have preferred to. I really would have preferred to have seen the musical, and I don't think watching the movie first was the perfect way of going about doing that. I mean, I couldn't watch the musical, obviously, but I don't know what to think about this film. I don't know. How about you?
I thought it was alright. The problem is, of course, since this is also by Lin-Manuel Miranda, is of course the immediate comparison to Hamilton. And while I wouldn't agree that's like the best piece of art ever.
I didn't say it was the best piece of art.
But one of the best pieces. I mean, I still fucking love it. And I think if you compare the two, which of course I think you probably shouldn't, but it's like the immediate reaction.
It's a fair comparison.
I think you can really hear Lin-Manuel Miranda's style in there. Like, a lot of songs kind of reminded me of Hamilton in a way. And that's not bad. There were some really good songs in there. But the story just didn't grip me as much. Of course, the stakes and the proportions of the story are way smaller than the fucking American Revolution.
Yeah.
But there were some characters that I enjoyed, others that I didn't really care that much about. And the movie is only like 1 hour 40, 150 maybe. But it felt like it lasted like 3 hours at times. Because I think
that's 220.
220, really, longer than I thought. Okay, that kind of makes sense why it felt so fucking long, because there's some great songs, and I think the time really flows by, and then there's some downs in the story, and not a lot happens, and there's a lot of drama in there, and my mind was like, let's get back to the songs, because that's kind of the best part, but there's also a lot of talking parts in there, since it is a movie and not a pure musical.
Yeah.
But yeah, I found myself also comparing it a lot to La La Land. Since one of the opening numbers where they dance in the streets kind of really reminded me of that opening scene in La La Land where they danced on the highway.
Sure.
And also the more dreamlike sequence where they were walking along the walls.
Yeah, no, that scene bothered me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How come?
I think this movie, or the director, John M. Chu, I think he was trying to create magic.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see that he was trying to do that. It wasn't magic to me. I wasn't immersed in it. And when that scene happened, I was just like, I mean, there are so many green screen scenes in that film, which I will never understand. Please just film it in the Washington Heights. Sorry.
I mean, that's fucking expensive.
No, I know, but this movie must have a huge budget. I mean, I'm saying this without any knowledge, but I think I don't know. But I understand that it's so much easier to film it on a stage or whatever. But it just took me out of it completely. And what was that scene about? I mean, it's kind of also like a La La Landy dreamy scene when they sort of float in that dance scene towards the end. But it was just weird, and you could see them sort of, you could see the ropes that held them up and how careful they were sort of moving each other around. And I'm not like saying that was poorly acted or whatever. I don't know what that scene just really took me out of it.
Yeah,
and it wasn't the only one.
With the green screen, I agree, especially in that scene, it was quite oversaturated and looked kind of weird, kind of off. But apparently what's kind of cool is, what I at least heard, is that they filmed that scene on a rotating stage, which is cool to do that in a practical effect and not just on a green screen and do
But
whatever.
It doesn't look like it, does it? I mean, I did not know that, and it felt like it was on a, I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure it's a mixture of
of
a lot of special effects.
Yeah, of course it is.
But what do you think of the songs? Because, well, that's the main part, and Hamilton has got some great songs, and like you said, we still listen to them today. So we sing some of them to this day.
Yeah.
What do you think of them?
That's a great question. Not one of the, strike that, not one song is still in my head. I couldn't tell you any other ones.
Okay, which one?
You know what I mean? I'm glad you brought this up. That's a big thing. I don't love nearly as many songs in this as I do in Hamilton. The song that really got me in the Heights was Alabanza.
Was that the Carnival song or the
No. That was the one. Well, to tread lightly here. Where I don't know how to tell you this without spoiling something, but it involves
it's in the later part of
someone
of the
being
movie.
sad and people in front of the window bringing right.
Gotcha.
You got me. Dude, that song really got me. Like, I got goosebumps all over when towards the later when everyone started singing. That was beautiful. And another thing that I actually didn't know before, I just looked it up a couple hours ago. Do you remember the actress that played Abuela, the
grandmother?
The grandmother. She was actually she's the same actress as in the play.
Oh, that's cool.
I believe she's the only one who reprised her role. So that's great.
Anthony Ramos probably in there as well? He could have played the kid, since he did that also in Hamilton. That was like my first thought.
Could absolutely be I have no idea. You might be absolutely right. And obviously, I mean, Chris Jackson, who played George Washington, he got a cameo in this as the ice cream, what was it? Ice cream truck driver?
Guy, yeah.
You might be right that Anthony Ramos was in this. I don't know. I don't know. But I thought he was great, by the way, in the Heights.
He was pretty good.
But I think
he
was great.
Like the aging effect of just giving him more beard, which
him
looked so weird. Yeah. Because the movie kind of opens with him being older, talking to some kids and telling his story of how he lived in the Heights and of his dream to move back to the Dominican Republic. And yeah, the way they kind of showed age difference was in the beard and the hat, I guess.
I mean, I didn't even know how much older he's supposed to be.
I guess like 10 years maybe in the future?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
But that whole thing as well, how that was revealed towards the end, I was just like, I mean, that just makes no sense with everything that we've seen before.
Yes and no, I guess, yeah.
I mean, I understand. I know what you're going to say, and I know it's maybe a bit of harsh criticism right there, but I don't know. It felt like, okay, yeah, of course that's the ending, you know.
Yeah.
And also like a trope that I absolutely hate in any movie is that when two people who are definitely in love with each other don't do anything about it and don't confess it to each other or whatever, and just like you have a movie that's 2.5 hours long and you have at least two relationships, like Corey Hawkins and Leslie Grace, like Benny and Nina. They are made for each other. I'm looking at the IMDb. I got the IMDb page up right now. Mm-hmm. But Anthony Ramos and Melissa Barrera, who I thought was great too, as Vanessa. Yeah. Those are two couples that are made for each other, and they're both in love with each other. And it takes 2 hours and 20 minutes for them to confess their love for each other, or basically to indulge in that love. You know what I mean? Just get to it already. Just tell each other that you love each other and don't spend 2.5 hours on it.
Talking about those scenes, I thought they seemed kind of off. In the way they flirted, it seemed like they were like 16 and it's the first time they tried asking somebody out, because it's so much forced laughter. They'll just look at each other and they're like, ha ha ha. And every single word they say, it seemed kind of off, to be honest. And talking about the actress who played Vanessa, this is nothing against her. I think this was just weirdly choreographed or made. For example, when they're at the pool, there's a song 96,000.
Yes.
Which goes on forever. And then there's
apparently you enjoyed it.
It was all right. I was like, all right, let's listen to something else. I get it. It's $96,000.
Sure.
I get it. No, there's this kind of not cut. It's the same scene. Then the kind of music dies down, and then she begins to sing, and it's an immediate jump in genre, way more serious all of a sudden, and it kind of threw me off, to be honest. There were a couple of those scenes where she began to sing, and all of a sudden it had this way more serious undertone.
Sure.
And I didn't think that the transitions were as good.
I was going to say the exact same
Hamilton.
thing. Yeah, that Carnival song, they're all like fucking, because the blackout is happening in the Heights, and they're all like so hot, and can't get anything to
they
cool each other
really are
off.
so hot.
They are so hot. But it's that one barber woman, I don't know how to say that, so I'm sorry, but she's just like hairdresser. Thank you, hairdresser. That's where you always go. Yeah. She's just trying to motivate everyone. Everyone's just like so sad and like tired and everything. 1 minute later, they get the biggest smiles on their faces and dancing, and like it just, I don't know, man. It's a weird criticism because that's kind of what musicals are about. But for me, this felt so fabricated and surreal, not in a good way, that film. There were certain scenes that I really, really enjoyed, and I actually feel like the actors were all pretty great. And I feel like I would enjoy this way more seeing this on stage, and I would have loved to have seen it with Miranda, just the way it was performed originally. Nothing against any actors doing this now, but
sure.
I don't know, man. I would have loved to see Chris Jackson sing. He's one of my favorite singers in Hamilton, but I don't think he got a chance to do that in this one.
Apparently, in one of the Broadway musical performances they did of In the Heights, it was actually, I think, even Anthony Ramos in the lead, I was told, and Vanessa Hudgens as Vanessa.
No kidding.
I heard. I could be so fucking wrong now.
Yeah.
Please correct me if you know better. Which is an interesting choice. I didn't know Vanessa Hudgens did Broadway musicals.
Well, she did High School Musical and sort of...
sure, but that's like another caliber.
No, of course.
Sure, yeah.
Of course. But, sorry, Chris Jackson, I know, was in the original play and had a bigger part. I think...
As the father?
No, I think he was Corey Hawkins' character. I think he was Benny.
Name? Jerry? Benny, that's the name.
But once again, I think I have no idea if that's true.
I mean, talking about cameos, also Lin-Manuel Miranda seemed so forced in there, especially later on in the movie. There's this big scene, which is not a spoiler, where Anthony Ramos' character kind of imagines all the others, his friends, coming to him and singing in front of him. Yeah. And there's Lin-Manuel Miranda among them, who plays the fucking ice cream salesman on the street, who has like two very small scenes.
Yeah.
That was so weird, so forced. I don't know if it was his decision or like the studio said, hey, we want more of you in there so people watch it.
I think it's that.
Could be. Yeah, it seemed kind of off. I mean, we're both kind of airing our criticisms a lot here. I still gotta say, I did enjoy it still.
Yeah.
It just wasn't as much of a fun ride as I wanted it to be.
Right.
not as memorable.
Sure. What about the after credit scene? Have you seen the after credit scene? It's the weirdest after credit scene too. It's just
There was an after credit scene. Fuck.
Yeah.
I think fuck. What was it? Oh, I guess it's quite a bit of a spoiler then.
Well, it's absolutely no spoiler. So I'm going to If you don't want to know this, listener, then skip ahead for 30 seconds. But it's basically just Lin-Manuel Miranda and Chris Jackson meeting. I think it's the ice cream truck of Chris Jackson sort of breaking down. Mm-hmm. So everyone is flocking to buy like these ice cones from Lin-Manuel Miranda. Mm-hmm. And he's just like raising the price the whole time and just looking at Chris Jackson being like, haha, everyone's coming to me right now. Is that the after credit scene? Or is that before? No, that's the.
I think it must be, yeah, because I don't remember that scene.
I think so, yes. And then at the end, he just like hands Chris Jackson a cone, and that's the end of the fucking movie.
Interesting.
I don't know why that was in there. You know,
I think it's just because it's Lin-Manuel Miranda
and Chris Jackson,
of course, yeah.
But anyway, let's move on to our pick of the week. Which, by the way, I have to say, I don't think we have a trailer for, which pains me to say, because. Hulu has been difficult, but it's my pick. So my and our pick of the week is a film that I feel like we're the last people on earth to have seen this movie. I'm being very genuine. And it's, of course, Palm Springs, a movie that I've had several people come up to me and tell me, watch this film for the podcast. It's great.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, no, I know. I can't. You know what I mean? There's no way of watching that film in Austria other than like finding other ways. And I don't want to necessarily promote that. So
necessarily.
It's now out on Amazon, and it's been out on Amazon for a while. Mm-hmm. I think for a couple of months, but obviously it was like $15 and $12, and I think it's now down to $5, right?
Yes, $5 to rent. And before that, you could only rent it for, I think, 15, which is too much.
Yeah.
I mean, Christ, that's a fucking movie ticket in 3D IMAX.
Yeah. But this is a great film. I loved Palm Springs. I don't know. How about you?
Yeah, I watched this today on Amazon, and I gotta say, I love it as well. Christ. I knew what the movie was kind of about.
Right.
But I love to take the head on it, since it is a time loop movie, and we have had a lot of those. Just recently, we talked about Boss Level, and we talked about Edge of Tomorrow also in one of our specials about sci-fi movies.
Right.
And there are some good movies in that genre, but I think this is one of the best since Groundhog Day.
Okay.
And dude, I love the humor, because since it is with Andy Samberg in the lead, I expected more very stupid humor, which he's quite known for. He does this very over-the-top cringe humor a lot of the time, which I'm not always a fan of. But it definitely worked for me here. And it wasn't just packed full of SNL actors doing SNL jokes. No, it was actually a good story. And I love Kristen Milioti. I'm not sure how you pronounce her last name.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But she's fantastic.
She was fucking great. I think she was my highlight of this movie.
Yeah, I agree. She was the mother in How I Met Your Mother and Wolf of Wall Street.
Was she?
Yeah.
I never finished.
Spoiler.
Okay, it's all right. I don't think I would have finished.
It's actually not that big of a spoiler, but she's also in The Wolf of Wall Street as Leo's wife.
Yeah, right. His first wife.
His first wife, yeah, because I knew her from How I Met Your Mother before that. And then it was like, what is she doing in Wolf of Wall Street? Good for her. But now she's like really breaking through, I feel like.
I know, I'm very glad about it. Yeah, because I looked up where else she's in, and that's not a lot. I think she's also in season 2 of Fargo, although that's like the season I least remember.
Well, she's Patrick Wilson's wife, who's got like, I think, cancer.
He's the sheriff, right?
Yes.
Right.
I've seen the first episode of season 2.
It's good. That's good.
I know.
Not as good as season 1, but I think that's an unfair comparison.
Yeah.
But no, Palm Springs. Do you want to give us a breakdown of the plot?
Sure. I mean, as I said before, this movie came out on Hulu in the States. We looked this up over a year ago. Mm-hmm. And I think it was even before that in cinemas. Or I don't know, maybe, was this a COVID film? Maybe it wasn't in cinemas, but I feel like it came out. I'd heard great things about this film ever since it premiered at Sundance. So that's January 2020. So
I think it received the highest bid in Sundance history.
Wow.
At like, I don't know, 16 million. Maybe it was more. I have no idea to get the rights.
Yeah.
16 million seems a little low, actually.
I don't know.
But who knows?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's taken, ever since its very first premiere at Sundance, it's taken, quick math here, about 19 months to get over here, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, it came out in, I think you mentioned this, in May?
Here.
Oh,
you're right.
But like for like $15.
You're right. Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah. But Palm Springs, it's about a guy who, Niles, who's at like a wedding resort, maybe? Like in a resort, a wedding is taking place, and he's stuck in a time loop because he found some cave and walked into it, and some magical shit happened, and he keeps reliving the same, that wedding day, not his wedding, but a day where a wedding occurs, and he keeps living that day every single day, and every time he goes to sleep, he wakes back up on that morning. And I love the opening of like Kristen Milioti's character just like sort of getting introduced to his character, and he's just like dancing and knows every move and anticipates every move, like in a good like Groundhog Day type of movie, because he's lived it for I don't know how many fucking times, or I don't know, weeks, months, years, whatever. And J.K. Simmons, who's, I think, I'm so happy that he's in about every movie these days. I love J.K. Simmons. And I loved him in this movie too as a guy. I think he was also what was it exactly? He was
also at the wedding. I think like the uncle of the bride or groom came by and took a lot of drugs with Andy Samberg's character.
That was
and
it, yes.
Then also walked into the cave, and now he's really pissed that he's also stuck there. And every once upon a time he comes by to enact his revenge on the immortal Andy Samberg.
Right.
To fuck him up because no consequences, and he's fucking pissed.
Yeah, because every time Andy Samberg's character dies, he also just wakes up again, so he can't like really die. But yeah, I mean, he's just like hunting him with a fucking crossbow, or what was it, bow and arrow?
Bow and arrow.
But Kristen Milioti's character sort of also then gets dragged into this time loop and is very, very angry at Andy Samberg's character because he didn't tell her about it, even though he did try and warn her. But then it's basically about those two guys forming a relationship and, finding peace with the fact that they're just reliving the same day over and over again. And it does sort of have those tropes that you expect of them, like being mad at each other in the beginning, then sort of really enjoying it and having fun with the whole thing, but then eventually like growing tired of it, of course. But yeah, it's about them figuring out a way to live with that, basically. And it's great. That whole setting too, that they're always in that little, I don't know where it's set exactly, but
Palm Springs.
Is that a real place?
It's a real place in California.
See, I think I didn't know that, but I never really, okay, yeah, fair enough. but I don't even mean Palm Springs. I mean, it's just like that resort area. They don't really stray out of that too much, I don't think.
I mean, they do drive out time and time again. And I think that like one of the first times she realizes that she's in the time loop, tries to get away as far as possible, and try to break out of it only to wake up back at the resort.
Yeah, and Andy Samberg goes like, I once actually drove to, what was it?
Papua New Guinea,
Papua New Guinea,
something like that.
What a gigantic waste of time.
A lot of crystal meth.
Yeah, it
wasn't worth it. I got arrested at the airport. I was acting very weird.
Yeah, what was your favorite joke or like favorite moment of it?
That's tough. I think one of the great moments was when you get a flashback of how Andy Samberg's character and J.K. Simmons meet. Like the first thing is like, I like
it's
your hat.
Great.
Of course you do. Want to do some blow? I think the guy over there has some, but I can't get him. Andy Samberg, who is already giving no shits about consequences, walks over, pulls it out of his jacket during the speech, and they walk off and do a whole lot of drugs.
You're right. He just shouts it across the room, waving that bag of yeah. Oh, there's so many great scenes of him not giving a shit. Basically, like cutting into the first dance at the wedding. It's like, can I take over? And he's like, dude, it's the first dance. Oh, is that an issue? Yeah. No, it's great.
How about you? I mean, did you have a favorite scene?
I don't know if I feel like it's more of the, like, I loved the way Kristen Milioti acted in that sort of him like laughing at the absurdity of Andy Samberg in the beginning.
Yeah.
You can see sort of her falling for him a little bit and sort of falling in love with his charm. And there's so many great like cutaways to her reacting to things, and obviously Sandberg is just he's great. He's great. I can't narrow it down to a specific scene. Maybe I'll think of one in a bit. But yeah, I mean, this is one of those films that everyone hyped, and it was worth the hype.
Definitely. And I think one of the cool things is, since there have been quite a few of these time loop movies, we see it through the eyes of a character who's done it for quite a while already. There isn't this moment of, fuck, I'm in it now, and does what everybody does in these situations. You kind of skip that and get right into it because everybody's familiar with the concept, and then he introduces another person to it. But in, like, I don't know, Groundhog Day and Edge of Tomorrow, you see those scenes that repeat time after time after time, right? And they kind of perfect these moments.
Right.
They don't do this here. You don't have that many scenes that repeat each other and people like saying the same lines all over again. They just have fun with it for a time, and I think that's,
Well, you don't see that necessarily, right? In the beginning,
they skip it,
right. But when she first meets Sandberg, or when we get to meet Sandberg for the first time, he knows every move that that drunk guy is gonna make in the dance or whatever. So he has lived through it a couple of times and has studied that basically. But you're right, we don't get to see that, and we sort of start after that, which is a cool thing.
Yeah, I've read somewhere in the trivia section on IMDb that the filmmakers apparently said like they didn't say how long he's been stuck in that time loop,
right?
But like the sweet spot is somewhere between 40 years and 40 million years, so who knows?
Sure. Jesus Christ. I mean, that would be fucking I don't know. My God, imagine being that. Pretty frustrating after like 2 days, I would feel.
Sure. I mean, it could be liberating in a way, but also, a nightmare. Since you can't kill yourself, so there's really no way out.
Right.
But I don't know, maybe you achieve some form of enlightenment in that.
This is great, like him like being so nonchalant about these things, of like her for the first time trying to kill herself to see what happens, and he just like unbuckles his seatbelt and he's like, all right, I'll see you in the morning.
Right, there's also this great scene where they're just having fun and just saying fuck it, and she's like climbing out of the sunroof and falling out and dying and waking up, and you just see him in the car like laughing because he knows no worries, she's gonna wake up.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great setup. It's just it leads to a lot of great scenes, and I think you're right that it somehow manages to stay original in that overused genre.
Although like more and more are coming out, like also I think Russian Dolls or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I think there has to be a
Netflix
limit
show,
at
right?
some point. Yeah, I just watched one episode. It wasn't for me, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, Boss Level was really good too. So I think that's included in Prime now, by the way.
Okay. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it.
I know. But Palm Springs, it's directed by Max Barbakov, who I'm not familiar with. I have to admit.
I think it's his first big feature film, if not his first ever. I don't know, but he did a great job.
Yeah, and it's written. Is it written by? Written by Max Bar. Okay, it's got nothing to do with the Lonely Island guys. Maybe that's why the humor is a bit more mature in a perverted way. It's not really mature at all, but you know what I mean. Compared to like other films that Sandberg has done.
It's got a lot of like cringy moments, especially involving sex, which I didn't expect. And like when it started, because I watched this quite early today after I woke up. Yeah. I was still kind of half asleep when I started the movie, and 5 minutes in I was wide awake, like at the edge of my fucking seat, and just being like, what the fuck is happening?
What do you mean, the one with his girlfriend in the beginning?
For example, where they're just fucking, and it's so uncomfortable because neither is like in the mood.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ, just stop it, please, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, I wish we could play a clip of it. I don't think we can, but on the other hand, I feel like every person has seen this film already. But we can now finally talk about it.
Anybody who hasn't, this is a big fucking endorsement of this movie. Go check it out. It's like $5. What else are you gonna spend it on? Yeah. I wish I could have seen this in theaters with a packed crowd. I think that would have been great as well. But it's okay. It's one of those. It's the great comedies you want to see with a lot of people, I feel like, and unfortunately, this one fell right into the COVID bubble. But yeah, it sucks. But what can we do? Do? So that's our pick of the week. Great film, really great film, and I mean, we got a lot of great things coming up too. I mean, I definitely want to watch Old
We got Minari as well. Was there another one coming up for next week's episode?
In 2 weeks, it's going to be Promising Young Woman and The Father, I think.
No. That's end of August, dude.
Oh, okay, sorry. But I think, isn't Promising Young Woman the 14th or the 18th, I think, of August?
I thought it was
could
the
be
29th.
very wrong. Is it? Christ, I'm so off with my dates.
Oh, you're right. No, it's the 19th. I'm sorry.
19th, okay.
19th.
Free Guy's coming out. I don't know how good that's going to be. I don't think
Free Guy.
but
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
That's coming out on the 12th of August. See, you're right. You're more up to date than me. Yeah.
So, yeah,
I think
quite a few things. And there might be even more like on Amazon and Netflix coming out. I'm not really... I've lost count of things coming out in the near future.
I think
so who knows?
Next week is also, of course, Suicide Squad.
Right, that's next week. Jesus, I feel like time's flying by. All of a sudden we got so many things coming out, and I just yeah. It's
strange, isn't it? That's what I was saying in the beginning. It's like cinemas are back, and I feel like movies are kind of back, and I hope let's enjoy it while it lasts. But we've been struggling to come up with picks, and now it's literally like, all right, we're gonna save this and this because we got so many things coming up.
Yeah, I feel like I don't have time for this many movies, but I'm glad about it.
Yeah, we can always save the discussion for a later date, obviously.
Sure.
But really looking forward to Old and Minari for next week, and I'm sure we'll find some other things too. And I don't know. Do we have anything else to talk about this week?
No, I think not. I mean, it's been a packed episode. A lot of good things as well.
Yes. Let's recap for a bit because we've had quite a bit. So. We started Hope Gap.
Which was all right.
But
not great.
Not great. Penguin Bloom.
Well, with Penguin Bloom. Which
was
movie,
better.
Which, if you're the person who likes those kinds of movies, I think it's good. I mean, it's got good performances. It just wasn't for me or us.
Well, actually, I think I enjoyed it more than you. But
could be.
Yeah, within certain, I didn't love it. But I think that's also... we've had a big mix-up. I just for the first time looked up when Penguin Bloom's going to be out. And that film's also going to be out on the 19th of August. And the whole time I'm like not talking about certain films that are coming out around that time.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
I know.
3 weeks from now. And those things that we saved is more because the other person hasn't seen them yet or hasn't had a chance yet. And we want to have a right discussion for those good movies.
Sure. But it
talked
feels
about
weird.
Movies
no, for sure.
We saw at the Vienna Film Festival, which
that was a one-time
like
thing.
a year later.
That was a one-time thing. Yeah. By the way, Druck is coming out now.
Nomadland as well.
That's been out for a while.
What's it called? I mean, that's so fucking embarrassing. Because I love that movie. The World to Come is coming out, I think, next week or the week this episode drops.
Yeah,
it's already coming out.
I think so.
Could be.
In certain art
check it out, please. I talked about this quite a while ago. Maybe you can check out the episode. I strongly recommend this movie, and I think it hasn't gotten a lot of publicity. And yeah, if you got a chance and you want to see something that's maybe not as, I don't know, mainstream or doesn't get as much love as it should, check that movie out.
Yeah. No, for sure. A lot of great things coming up these days, and I'm very happy about it. Because when we started this podcast, it was, I think, 5 weeks before the pandemic. And the goal was always like to go talk about movies that we saw in cinemas. That kind of shut down after those shut down after 5 weeks. And let's enjoy it while it lasts now. So that's it from me. I got to finish my essay, my paper. And I appreciate your help once again for doing this week.
No worries. I mean, you've done the same for me in the past.
Yeah.
We're nice people.
Sure.
Call us up.
We pretend to be.
Thank you so much for listening. This has been another regular episode talking about the best thing we've seen all week. You can check us out anywhere where you get your podcasts from, be it YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, etc. Check us out at Best Thing Radio on Twitter and Instagram. You can check out our thumbnail that Flo is going to design for us, even though he's quite stressed. Thank you for that. You can check it out on Instagram, YouTube, etc. Yeah, maybe tell us what you thought of the things that are coming out in the near future. Are you excited for anything in particular? We'd love to hear from you. Yeah, consider dropping a like, subscribe, and have a great day. And
one thing that I forgot to mention, because we just did a recap. I did Hope Gap, Penguin Bloom, and then we stopped. So because of the release thing, totally my bad. But Penguin Bloom's good too. And In the Heights
it's out
good.
now.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But I think it's, yeah. But the greatest thing this week is Palm Springs for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to finish that.
All good.
Thanks for listening. See you soon.
Have a nice summer. Bye-bye.
Nice summer. Tune in next week.
The height of summer?
Yeah, sure. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.